Before I start this video out, I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Eric on Twitter. He originally sent me the photos and videos of the fire that took place on Sunday night in Savannah on July the 21st when 3 buildings were damaged by fire. Now, Savannah Fire and Rescue responded at about 11:30 p.m. to a fire on the 300 block of West 37th Street. So that's West 37th Street and Jefferson Street, around in that area on the west side. Now, the flames spread to 2 nearby buildings and a residential building at the First Metropolitan Baptist Church. Now, don't that name sound familiar? Well, I'll get back to that name in a second. But all the structures were reportedly vacant at the time of the fire. At this time, no injuries have been reported. The church roof has been burnt and collapsed into itself. Now, they believe the fire started at a 2-story home that spread to the church and another nearby home. The roof of the First Metropolitan Baptist Church is all but gone, but the 2 houses to the left of it are also badly damaged. Now, the roof of the church was fully involved with the fire. It had broken through the roof line, and part of the roof had started to cave in into the building and started to fall into the church. And as a precaution, Savannah Code Enforcement has taped off the area around the structures in the block of West 37th Street, just in case if the church collapses even more after the damage. And also, Code Enforcement condemned the buildings on Monday, and the city posted to their Facebook page that the road will be closed around the damaged buildings until demolition is complete. So they're trying to do emergency demolition at this time for the building. And if you're wondering why this church name sounds so familiar, well, I reported on this church a few videos back. I talked about a video with Alfonso McClendon, a pastor of the First Metropolitan Baptist Church, where Mr. McClendon was allegedly involved with a sexual act with an underage person. Now, McClendon was indicted in June for charges of aggravated child molestation, and statutory rape to a minor who attended the church. And if you ain't seen that video, I'll put that video in the link in the description box where I talked about that case in itself. And if you're still watching this video at this time, you can click off it if you want to, because I'm gonna just give my personal opinion about this church. You know, sometimes God, He acts in a way that we can't explain or understand. You know, when I found out while doing this video that this was the same church that the alleged pastor that did the child molestation and statutory rape to a minor, this was his same church, you know, it started to kind of make sense to me, because a lot of times God will produce Himself in a way that we won't understand or we can't comprehend. So I don't like the fact that this church was burnt down. I mean, of course, the fire department hasn't ruled any suspicious activity in this case, but I feel like God knows what He's doing. I mean, I think this is a somewhat type of a cleansing of this area, because you had a fake pastor, a perverted pastor, who was acting in this church, and you know, he's been arrested, of course, but you know, the church was still vacant. You know, I don't think anybody was still attending this church that I know of. And I just feel like God's purpose of doing this, I'm not trying to say that, you know, anybody else did this or anything, because I don't know technically myself, but me personally, a person that goes to church every Sunday, I feel like this is somewhat atonement, you know. And it sounds pretty weird that I should say something like this, but I mean, just picture a fake pastor preaching in that church and having that church still stay. That's not an act of representation of God's work. You know, a fake pastor operating in a fake church. And I hate to call it a fake church, because I know that church was built probably in the 1800s, but just that it was overtaken by a perverted pastor. So I think, in a way, this is a way that God is saying that He just want to start over with this place. Now, I know what you're thinking, well, what will happen with this place if it's demolished? Well, I think the city of Savannah will put something else in that place. Possibly another church, maybe another home, possibly. You know, a lot of times in that historical Victorian district, you know, they'll put another home there. The details or even the future of that particular spot is unknown for right now. But at the same time, you got to think about SCAD too. SCAD buys a lot of property in the city of Savannah. You never know what they might do with that place as well. You know, there's a lot of people that have their eyes on that place, because that's off of West 37th Street. Particular intersection has a lot of traffic. Some of the most traffic that flows through the city of Savannah goes through that intersection, believe it or not. So I'll just leave it at that. You know, I was gonna put this in a live stream, but I just had too many thoughts just going on at one time. But however, let me know how you think about the situation. Was this God's work? Was this God's plan? Was this started by somebody else? Even though it says that there isn't any foul play involved in this. But let me just hear your response on it. But anyways, that's all for me for right now. Any other updates about this, I'll let you know as well. But that's it for right now. Stay blessed.